Hi everyone, so today we are going to review the fundamental counting principle. So you just completed a Google form with 5 questions to review the fundamental counting principle as well as probability questions involving the fundamental counting principle. So let's take a look at questions 1 through 3. Questions 1 through 3 dealt with rolling 2 number cubes at the same time. So notice these problems are a little bit different than the problems that we did with compound probability, where you have 2 events. This is one event that's occurring. We're rolling 2 dice. Okay, so that's one event. They're occurring together. So let's take a look at number 1 here. 2 6-sided number cubes are rolled. Okay, it's still one event. We're just rolling them together. We're looking at their outcomes together. What is the probability that the product of the numbers on the 2 cubes is 3? Okay. So first thing you need to do for these problems is you need to figure out the total number of outcomes. Any time you roll 2 dice, your total number of outcomes is always going to be 36. Okay, and the reason why is because of the fundamental counting principle. On that first die, you have the numbers 1 through 6, so you have 6 outcomes. On the second die, you have the numbers 1 through 6, so you have 6 outcomes. So if you multiply these together, 6 times 6 is 36 total outcomes. So when I roll the two cubes together, I have 36 total outcomes. Now, the next thing you want to take a look at is they're asking us for the product of the numbers to be a 3. So product means the 2 numbers on the cubes should multiply to 3. So what I like to do is I like to make a list of all the ways that we can multiply to 3. So you could have 1 on the first die and 3 on the second die. The reason why this works is because 1 times 3 is 3. So that gives you the product of 3 that we're looking for. You could also have 3 on the first die and 1 on the second die. Same thing, 3 times 1 is 3. So that gives you a product of 3. So we have 2 outcomes that will give us a product of 3. So to calculate my probability, I'm going to do my favorable outcomes, which is 2, over my total number of outcomes, which is 36. Simplify that fraction, you get 1/18. Take a look at number 2 here. 2 6-sided number cubes are rolled. What is the probability that the sum of the numbers is 7? So once again, you want to start by finding the total number of outcomes, which is 36. 6 outcomes on the first die, 6 on the second. 6 times 6 is 36. Now, to get a sum of 7, sum means to add, so the numbers have to add up to 7. So once again, make yourself a list of all the ways that the numbers could add to 7. So you could get a 1 on the first die and a 6 on the second die. 1 plus 6 is 7. You could get 6 on the first die, 1 on the second die. 6 plus 1 is 7. You could get 2 on the first die, 5 on the second. 2 plus 5 is 7. You could get 5 on the first die, 2 on the second. 5 plus 2 is 7. You could get 3 on the first die, 4 on the second die. The reason why this works, 3 plus 4 is 7. You could also get 4 on the first die and 3 on the second. 4 plus 3 is 7. So if you count up these outcomes, there are 6 total. There are 6 possible outcomes here that will give us a sum of 7. So we have 6 favorable outcomes over 36 total outcomes. 6 divided by 36 simplifies to 1/6. All right, let's look at our last one here, number 3. So we're once again rolling our 2 number cubes. What is the probability that the sum is 4? So our total number of outcomes is going to be 36. Now sum of 4. So the numbers have to add to a 4. So you could get 1 on the first die, 3 on the second. This works because 1 plus 3 is 4. You could get 3 on the first die, 1 on the second. 3 plus 1 is 4. You could get 2 on the first die and 2 on the second. 2 plus 2 is 4. Now notice for this combination here, like I had 1 and 3 and 3 and 1. If I try to write 2 and 2 the other way, I'm still going to have 2 and 2. So I don't want to count that as an extra outcome. So I only have 3 outcomes here. So 3 favorable outcomes out of 36 total outcomes simplifies to my probability of 1/12.